Every one of you watching this screen, look out.
Anything can happen in the next half hour.
What did I tell you about cartoons?
They've got a lot of brains, and they've got a lot of chutzpah.
Tell me how comic books make you feel, Dave.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Hi, this is Frantz Kantor, cartoonist, illustrator, and toon talker, and I'm here with
Jim Bridges, and I'm the president of the Australian Cartoon Museum.
We've got a really exciting book, a book bite here. It's a book review, of course, of Cartoon Modern by Amidi, who is on the Cartoon Brew site. So if you really want to study animation, you should immediately go there and bookmark it. But wait, don't hang up, don't stop watching the film.
Look at that beautiful, complicated...
So, okay, let me just give you a basic idea why this book is important. I love Hanna-Barbera cartoons and Disney cartoons, etc. But really for me, 50s cartoons was the magic, because they're really, you know, taking the rules of perspective and character design and really turning it upside down. So this comes from a really, it's indebted in a way to Picasso and to looking at the world afresh.
Yeah.
So 50s, you know, came from the 50s cartoons, or especially UPA, United Pictures Association.
Well, animation...
No,
wasn't...
United Pictures of America, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. But animation wasn't keeping up with the design that's happening at that time all over the world.
Yeah, it needed to be freshened up.
It was stuck in its own...
It was stagnant.
Yeah, in its own...
Yeah, so Disney really, like with Pinocchio, etc., they had this sort of realistic creation which, artists were bored with. They were bored with creating it, and the audiences wanted something. Yeah. So the audiences. This is 1953. Yeah. Ward Kimball and August Knowles.
Whistle, plunk, and boom.
Yeah.
Toot, whistle, plunk, and boom.
So it was a short about the invention of music, and this is really, there was a whole big revolution in animation, which partly a lot of the smaller studios could make money from selling fresh like commercials, to sell animated commercials in order to pay the bills.
Well, during the 50s, 1 in 4 ads were animated.
Yeah, because they were
just look at the background. I mean, the buildings.
Because they were so novel, they're so inventive.
But look at the background; it's just one line.
Yeah. So
and then they put sponge effect on it.
Sea sponge. Yeah. So
that's the background. That's all you needed.
That's texture.
That's
all
you needed. You know.
Well, there was a big revolution in the 20s and 30s, and the Raoul Dufay and the French Impressionists. They created. Yeah,
Paul Klee, Miro.
All of those influences
Lejeune.
from the previous century had this influence in culture. So Picasso, of course, started to, it's just sort of opening up our eyes to new things. So we're not just looking at the same old. It's terrible to be stuck in a rut. And of course, Disney was in the biggest rut. So they had to undergo the biggest transformation.
They were interested in realism. And one of the quotes in the book says, "The drive for realism often trumps the graphic possibilities inherent in the art form."
Yeah, because sometimes the realism gets in the way of the gag or the personality.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at some of these. These are just these are ads, aren't they?
Yeah.
From advertising. So
we need to.
Advertising is more than anything else. It's a method of messaging of communication that relies on, in many ways, a short story, a simple direct method of communication
Look
of
at
the idea.
Look at the size of those
So
noses.
that's in opposition to these long drawn out stories like Pinocchio, where you had like realism was the order of the day to create something that you could immerse yourself into. Sometimes you didn't want to be immersed. You didn't have time to be immersed. You just wanted to get to the meat of the gag of this story.
Well, I think one of the reasons...
there was a lot of interest in graphic design because there was a lot of things happening at the same time. Was printing was becoming, full color printing was becoming more prevalent, especially after the war, when a lot of the presses were now relieved of the burden of having to do wartime work. You know, so they were actually in the business of growing the economy. So posters were very, very popular.
Yeah, and these are the artists who weren't animators, but their styles led the way, like
Mary
Ben
Blair,
Shahn, Steinberg, Virgil Patch,
or Raoul Dufay, the fine artists.
Yeah, who just did blocks of colour.
Sol Steinberg, you know, these are cartoonists. So the people. The art form of animation was stagnant because it wasn't reflecting this freshness, this vibrance, this vitality that was in the culture. So it was culturally devoid of relevance.
Well, Disney held sway. I mean, especially in America. And the point is, because he wanted to make the things commercial, but he sort of his vision. His vision is 19th century.
Yeah. When they finally embraced the beauty of 50s, you know, of jazz, of this sort of look and feel, they did it really well. I mean, this is Ward Kimball again. Yeah. I mean, this is just perfect, relevance to what was happening with Picasso and Braque and music in general.
Actually, music
culture,
music had a
advertising,
big effect on
graphic design. Graphic design wasn't a thing in America.
Yeah.
You know, and then in the 50s, of course, post-war, it became really, really popular, really, really quickly. These are like from ads, from TV ads.
Television came along and changed everything in animation because
television was cheaper.
Yeah, and smaller screen, and it was all about ads. It was all about ads.
Yeah,
you know, the consumerism of the 50s.
Yeah.
Now these are different companies. This is creative arts.
But you had to communicate. Like graphic design communicates really quickly by reducing everything down to its base elements, and refining the idea. That's what they had to get with the cartoons. So the cartoons in advertising had to be very quick communicators, and they were brilliant at that. Absolutely brilliant, more than anything else.
Well, in a way, it was the 50s were the golden age of that sort of type of animation, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this is, how do they arrange this book?
It's alphabetical.
It's alphabetical, but they're all put together.
These are all separate studios.
So Academy Pictures was one company, Creative Arts, Electra Films. So this is fantastic. Right across the board, this is such a great book. I've been waiting 20 years for this book. Yeah, look at this. This is Petrushka Fine Arts Films. Look at these. I mean, they have a place in advertising or greeting cards or children's picture books from the 1950s, you know, and to see it animated is magic, absolutely magic. I might actually say that when I first saw this style, it was really different and stood out from Disney films and even from Hanna-Barbera films. And it took me it actually shocked me. It gave me sort of a culture shock to actually see this. But after I watched millions of Mr. Magoo's, I got hip to the idea, man.
Oh my God!
The Grantley Lawrence animation.
These are great drawings, aren't they?
Fantastic work.
Aren't they? Like the reflectors.
This is Gene Hazelton. Whereas these are the commercials.
Yeah.
You know, these are like caricatures of people that they knew.
Yeah.
This is how much of the air.
Oh, actually, this goes on. You turn the page.
Yeah.
It goes down here, and then it keeps on going down.
Keeps on going. Yeah. It's brilliant.
That's beautifully drawn, isn't it?
So the way that they played with graphic design, you know, and familiar stuff like children's book style characters and textures, and it's just amazing to see it.
I feel so.
And it felt it so strongly. It created this lively vibration throughout the industry and throughout Disney. It affected Disney in a way. It really revitalized it. Without UPA, without these studios, there would be no Disney. They would not survive.
Ooh, that's pushing it on.
No, they would have been dead. They were.
I feel a Saul
convinced
Bass.
that the way forward was feature films.
I feel a Saul Bass moment coming on here.
Yeah.
And speaking of Saul Bass, HB.
Early Hanna-Barbera, back in
boo-boo.
1958, when they introduced these characters had more poise. They were beautifully designed, and they utilized a lot of these simple limited animation techniques of just animating mouths or faces or eye blinks and things. But these character designs here, what would this left Huckleberry Hound show? Designer Ed Benedict, and who did Ed Benedict again? He did the Yogi Bear, and Ed Benedict, of course, did Quick Draw McGraw. So he was Hanna-Barbera in many ways. So his character designs were really, really strong. There's some of Ed Benedict's characters for Top Cat, and I think that they've, Lippy the Lion, one of my favorites.
And Hardy Ha Ha.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting because these are early Fred Flintstone ideas. So
also by Ed Benedict. They're just experimenting with different character types, and really. I mean, this
Fred and Barney.
With it. I mean, look at this as Fred and Barney.
Fred and Barney. Yeah.
That, if they had done that,
and you can see Barney here, but you can see Fred too, but he needs to eat a few thousand steaks, doesn't he?
Yeah. Because of course the Flintstones were based loosely, well, not loosely,
on the Honeymooners.
Strongly on the Honeymooners.
He nearly took them to court, didn't he? Jackie Gleason.
No, I think that was a rumor. John Sutherland Productions.
Yeah, so this is
look
great.
At this, importing actual textures of fabric into the concept. This beautiful flat, tartan texture.
So it's the floor. They're using tartan for tiles.
So with these animated commercials, they just experimented their little hearts to their little heart's desire.
Yeah.
And everything was about what if, growth, about doing something new, trying something else.
Here he is sleeping on just the springs. That's the mattress. That's telling you how he's sleeping. You know? This is almost George Jetson, isn't it?
Rhapsody of Steel by Technicolor.
Yeah.
So it's 1959. This is a short film, 4-minute pantomime cartoon sequence.
So how steel is used. So you sleep on steel, you sleep on springs.
Yeah, they knew very quickly that animated characters are incredibly communicative in developing stories and information.
Jane, his wife,
imparting information. So it was very important.
John Bunyan.
The Littlest
this is about
Giant, concept paintings by Victor Habush.
Yeah.
So, again, it comes from
it says here,
an
the
aesthetic
paintings,
looking at...
These paintings were directly inspired by the works of English sculptor Henry Moore.
Yeah.
These.
Yeah. The giants in our midst. So that's very Dali-esque, I suppose.
Well, I mean, because of the television screen, and because films, animation had to change, and it was it had to change. And for instance, they would get to make a
These leapt off the screen
to make a 1-minute ad, animated ad. It cost about $20,000 or something.
Yeah, the same price as a short.
Yeah, but when they started making feature television series like Tom Terrific and those sort of things, they were really limited because their budgets were about $8,500 for the whole show, for a half-an-hour show. So this simplification...
This is MGM, of course, the home of Tex Avery. This is Tex Avery.
This is a very
Symphony
funny cartoon where he just basically turns funny
you can watch
sayings.
this on YouTube. They have a small version of it.
They just turn the puns into visual gags.
Yeah.
It's very fun. Like they're hanging out to dry, see?
Yeah.
They're hanging out to dry.
Well, they're hanging around town. I think the gag is.
Yeah, and he's painting the town red here.
Town red, yeah.
Yeah.
So Tex Avery just sort of.
And he gets
perfect
life.
for this.
He gets life.
So these
the
are
judge
notes
hands down.
that Tex would write over these drawings. These are production drawings held. So this animation, once he does that action, he holds that, and then you animate the reaction over here.
Yeah. It's a bit stilted, but it's still pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, it's a good. I think it's a clever use of limited animation.
Very.
And non-animation. Because sometimes animation is more about what you don't animate.
Now look at that. Isn't it beautifully designed?
That's a fantastic model sheet. So these are.
He ended up the star.
Little deadpan character.
But look at those.
Well, he was a perfect foil. So all of the other characters were really, really able to express anger and emotions and things.
And look at this drawing. Look how simple it is. Like the twirls on their hats and all that sort of stuff. It's just. I mean, this is what I love about the 50s.
Yeah, this is Ed Benedict.
It's shorthand. It's graphically get the line down and the image down as quickly as possible to convey what you want to. And it's shorthand, and people like it. It's like a well-placed pun. It's just perfect when it's drawn
so
in a
you
very
don't need
simple
to
way.
be able to draw well to get the story, get to tell the story, right? You just had to be inventive.
But these guys could draw, and they were great designers. I mean, the 50s is all about design and allowing the line to go.
Yeah.
Because before that, it was limited. And,
this is Playhouse Pictures. So a lot of these, they employed, the same people. A lot of the animators.
Look at the waist. It just goes in here. So the waist is just hourglass. It's a literal hourglass.
Yeah, but, this is a cell.
Yeah.
From the commercial. So it was a black and white TV, black and white commercial.
Yeah.
The artwork had to be in tones of grey.
Yeah.
So, this sort of gives you an idea why it's black and white. It's not because of there's no surviving colour pictures. It was actually designed that way.
I love the design of kids always draw the sun or the moon in the corner, don't they?
Yeah. Well, it was a way of having fun. So people wanted to have fun with commercials and with cartoons.
I mean, today...
That's why they existed.
Today, this would be extended storyboard, but this is what the actual ad was. And look at the design in this. 1, 2, 3...
Yeah, and beautiful because they were held on screen, so you could actually appreciate the inventiveness of the design itself.
So they started to sell everything. Like this is Ford's.
For Ford, yeah.
The dogs.
Well, they were dogs. perfect logo companions or strapline companions.
Yeah.
They could deliver any corny line or any company line perfectly, and they were cheap as chips.
Yeah. Well, these drawings are
celebrity or a sports star.
Yeah.
Use a cartoon. It was 1,000 times more effective than Kim Kardashian of the day.
And of course, they don't run off the rails and get drugs and scandals and alcohol.
Cartoons are very powerful communicators.
Yeah.
And today you see less and less of cartoons in supermarket, of course, because their communication power is undisputed, and now you're not allowed to use them to sell cereal and
this
candy
is
to kids.
Influenced by Searle, I'd say.
Well,
this sort of character.
Yeah, and even the child with the nose.
Yeah,
you can see the nose there. Let's have a close up look at that. It's beautiful. So who's responsible for that? Director David Hilberman. I'm not sure. So the studio was very, very experimental. This is Playhouse Pictures. Of course it is.
Of course it is. Oh, of course.
Look at the beautiful use of cutouts and graphic design.
Look, it's just a mouth. Just a mouth on some wheels, look.
Yeah. And they used it a lot. This is Union 76 gasoline. They can use it for virtually any product or any service.
Yeah, look at very...
This and also designed by Sol Bass. So Sol Bass is responsible for a lot of the beautiful graphics that you see. Yeah, he loved cartoons. This is Ray Patton Productions. Patton.
This is lovely. Look at the lines.
Yeah. So these are reminiscent of greeting cards of the time or kids' books of the time.
Yeah.
So people were so enamored of this style, and it was so warm and inviting and friendly, and the opposite almost to the cold realism of photographs or even Disney feature films.
Oh, the realist style.
Yeah.
See, look at this.
So
They're all
inventive.
having. Well, this is a meat commercial. A meat commercial with cowboys.
Yeah, this book is not in print anymore. It's out of print. It's very expensive to purchase. But if you're able to hunt it down like I did, I hunted down this copy all the way from Ireland. And,
so these are originals. These are originals.
It's a beautiful haul.
These are taken from originals.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid Titus.
Kool-Aid Titus, yeah. Yeah.
The sticky tape's all gone oxidised.
Yeah.
And that's how you draw trees.
Yep.
Seamus Calhoun. Now
Productions. They did a lot of.
Didn't he do Betty Boop? Didn't he invent Betty Boop?
No, that was the
This
Fletcher
is-
Studios.
This is but he was the main character guy on that.
Oh, okay.
So this is around the world from 80 days. This is the
graphics.
the credits.
The credits,
They did all the
yeah.
graphics for the credits,
Yeah.
which was quite a feature in itself, really.
Yeah. Bill Hurt, so it's channeling a lot of.
That went for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, channeled a lot.
Peter
of,
Lorre as a samurai.
Well, it's a mad world went for 6 minutes, I think.
Yeah. So this company's called Storyboard. That's an unusual name for a company that sells ads, don't you think?
Yeah.
Now look at that lovely line there.
They're beautiful the way they lean into it.
Yeah.
So they always, this is the thing. You can't get a celebrity to hold a product with this much drama
and the thick lines really emphasise it. Burns into the character burns into.
Oh man! On the little TV sets of the time, these jumped out of the screen. This
and look
was
at this,
so powerful.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're telling you that this product is good.
Yeah.
From the face.
It's really inventive. Beautiful stuff. A lot of variety. They really enjoyed the challenge of coming up with using new illustrators and new techniques and styles to tell these stories. Dropping in textures here and there, and
the men with the golden arms.
Time.
Storyboarding. The men with the golden arms. You've got to have a look at that.
Yeah.
These are the blokes who do the drawing. They're the men with the golden arms.
So they would.
It's sort of primal, isn't it? All the stuff is primal. Like this is John Hubley, and this is just done with smudges.
Yeah. So they really were pioneers in experimenting. They really pushed short films, and they loved their short films. Of course, they responsible for a lot of the studios starting up, like Terry Toons. Some of the more
so the original ones were in colour. I thought they were in black and white, but I'm thinking of Tom Terrific. So I'm thinking of Tom Terrific.
Yeah. Tom. Well, Tom Terrific was in colour.
Yeah. Well, not in Australia.
That's Tom Terrific.
Isn't that fantastic?
6 Sydney.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah. I did some sketches of him.
I don't
recently.
even think that. I mean, that's. Look at this.
This is Gene Deitch.
Yeah,
Gene Deitch
that's terrific.
did the character designs for and these extremes of 6 Sydney. So Terry Toons were able to exploit a lot of this really fun way of animating, and with incredible variety. I mean,
This sort of looks European-y, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks very Lunik-like.
Yeah. Phlebas. Ernie Pintoff, Phlebas.
Yeah. So it's almost like any shape is an excuse to present a character, as long as you do it with style.
Well, he's a king, and he's not.
Yeah, they almost look like made out of numbers.
Yeah. Now, the Dean, I've got to show the drawings on this. These are very simple, but they're beautifully. Have a look.
Yeah, even the walk cycle of the characters. They still employ the beautiful rhythmic sine wave of the dips and rises of the.
But I mean, these weren't just
within simple.
They look like
geometry.
They look like they're designed for kids, but they're not.
All right, now we have the magic. Now they are for UPA.
Yeah, the symbol.
United Productions of America. There's a lovely walk cycle of one of the characters. Sweet and simple.
It's called the Jaywalker.
Yeah. Well, this was for a public service announcement. So
okay.
Public service.
You mustn't jaywalk.
Yeah, so they did a lot of these things. Incredibly successful. As I could say, I keep saying to you, cartoons. If you're going to sell something, use a cartoon.
Well, I mean, UPA dominated the 50s with this type of work.
Yeah.
But it was nicknamed the Layout and Background Factory.
Yeah.
And they're joy.
Yeah. He was magic.
He was. Oh, this is.
These are some of the title cards. Oh no, this is the Magic Flute 1949. These. What are these? These are
Fox
color
and Crow.
continuity. Okay.
They're
so
credits.
from the world of advertising of storyboards, continuity boards are basically a shorter version of the storyboard of the whole script, but in color, so that you can actually judge the scene transitions from the different shots, shot to shot, and see how the colors are working and the lights are working to tell the story and get the message across. If you're doing a commercial, but this, of course, the Magic Flute 1949. This is a short. This is a beautiful gouache painting. As you can see, the telltale signs of gouache, and gouache is good because it's flat. It's not glossy.
Can you describe the difference between gouache and, say, watercolor or any other?
Well, gouache is an opaque watercolor, so you can put light over dark, right? So it's a very layered effect.
Okay.
But it's also very flat, which means it's not reflective. So when you put a cell over it, it just works beautifully. Acrylic tend to the cells tend to stick to acrylic backgrounds, especially under the heat of the lights. So these are look at these beautiful designs of the characters. Look, the contrasts. This is the thing, when you're no longer fettered by having to be realistic, your contrasts bump up.
It's like Natasha, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
isn't that beautiful? Like the design of that, like the line across here and the.
So this is actually that's from Skiing Story, I think. Isn't it? Is that what that says? I don't remember that one. But Mr. Magoo was a perfect vehicle for their visual compositions, and where they would break the three-dimensional world and sort of peel it out into a sort of an illustrative Raoul Dufay style painting.
Now this reminds me of your work for some reason.
I just love the use of the clever use of perspective and then break perspective.
Yes, because they didn't really do perspective, did they? Like UPA.
Well, this is perspective. This is forced perspective, and it's using it in a very novel way. But you always break things. You always break those laws.
Our Mr. Sun.
Our Mr. Sun, which was a public service announcement. If you could check out those wonderful sketches. Oh, the face, really, really expressive. So when you're no longer fettered by reality, you can amp up the fun, amp up the novelty. You can really sort of go to town.
Well, that's the other thing. I love shorthand. I love shorthand, and this is
the Telltale Heart. This is a beautiful, very graphic, very strong
That looks like
short
a
film.
design
It
for
won an
a
Academy
play.
Award.
Looks like a design for a play, you know,
Yeah.
when they do those sort of designs. That's Thurber.
Yeah.
Oh, the unicorn in the garden. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because he didn't draw like, okay, yeah, they just sketch you.
It was
Yep.
Bill Hurd.
This is available on YouTube. You can check
Bob
this out.
Dranko
You can check
sketches.
this out on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Very powerful film, even today.
Oh.
And of course, this is the Gerald McBoing Boing.
Yeah.
So this film,
look at that car.
again, you know.
Not even Uncle Scrooge had a
Academy Award
car
winner.
that long, did he?
No. So,
And there's a little king sort of character, you know.
yeah. So, yeah, it was incredible use of color and simplicity in the design.
And look at that. Look,
So this is just all, you know,
checking out his voice because he had
so
this.
well researched, this
Yeah.
book. I can't tell you what a joy it is to see every single page is like sparkles with innovation and
See how the newsprint is cut.
invention. Yeah. They just used it as
See,
a collage. in
They're
the
just
cartoon.
great visual ideas. They're funny visual ideas.
Yeah. So their commercials were brilliant as well. Their idents for shows and what's this is a short for? It's Time for Everybody. It's a sales film for CBS Radio.
CBS Radio. Oh, okay.
I don't know what this is. Ballet.
It's a
Ooh,
timing sheet.
sheet. That's a timing sheet with the notes. So, yeah, it's just sort of like using a timing sheet, which is a mathematical. It's like a graphical equation of the timings of the actions in the animated film. And of course, they've done little thumbnails as well to sort of explain it.
That's her leg.
Rudy Toot Toot.
Yeah. Nice design.
Yep.
It takes me back to my childhood, a lot of this stuff. I remember going through magazines and stuff and seeing a lot of this type of thing. And look at this. These block shapes are going in slightly different directions to the actual buildings and stuff.
Yeah, that's concept art by Luke Keller.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. 50s modern. Sometimes called Googie designs. They're based
Googie?
on a lot of the, like Frank Lloyd Wright.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Space, going into the space era. There's a lot of design happening. It was very, very exciting age to be involved in this business
remember
in the
this.
industry in that time, I'm sure.
Oh, and there's the cover.
Yeah, there's the cover.
As I was saying, look, the drumstick is just, you know,
Yeah.
and it's all about the belt and the moustache. The Matador and the Troubadour.
Yeah. So also they were very, very influenced and tied in with a musical soundtrack. So these animating to strange sounds.
Well,
and,
jazz tracks primarily.
Yeah, flats and, you know, notes that nobody really took notice of before.
This is cool. This is, look at the cigarette smoke, cool.
And of course, because of graphic design, you know, more attention was paid to the color design. The color palettes were very, very well developed.
Nice yellows.
Very sophisticated.
Nice balance of yellow there.
So,
these are the storyboards to the actual end of the film.
yeah.
That's where the music. That's where the music.
Well,
that's where
that's
the music comes from.
Evan Durrell. And of course, he was the designer and illustrator for Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
That's from Toot Whistle,
And-
Plunk and Boom.
Rough.
This is rough. This is going towards today. This is American Motors. Oh no, when was this?
Modernised Mickey Mouse.
Opposite Modern Motors, American Motors commercial designer Tom Oreb. Model sheet for a modernised Mickey
I can't
Mouse.
imagine Disney. Oh, so it never happened.
No, it did happen.
Ah.
They have a short.
Okay, I can't imagine Disney let them do it. And of course, he's got the tail.
Yeah. No, they did happen. Disney they invented Mickey Mouse several times.
Well, they had to.
Yeah.
Reinvented him. So this is the work from Sleeping Beauty.
This is the work. Sketches by character design, sketches, Sleeping Beauty by Tom Oreb. Look at these beautiful little birds. There's what's the name from Sleeping Beauty?
Aurora, isn't it? Aurora, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember this too. He chases around and eats it, doesn't he?
I've not seen this, actually.
It's what's
Man on the Moon?
Yeah, Man on the Moon, yeah.
Ward Kimball. Wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't actually seen this film. I must research that.
And that's
this is the
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
So it was concept paintings by Evan Durrell, of course, and I think a lot of the some work by.
There's a lot of vertical stuff in that movie. I remember trees and everything was long and vertical.
Well, it's heavily influenced by a children's book illustrator style.
Yeah.
And
but this is
I
also
think of Mary Blair.
Yeah, this is also
Colour
very
palette.
The stuff they did in Chaucer's time. The sort of artwork they did.
Chaucer's time.
Yeah, Chaucer, 15th century, 13th century. The artwork,
like illuminated manuscripts.
No, they had. Have you seen the beginning of? No, you wouldn't have seen that film.
You're talking about.
They had
Renaissance paintings.
No, pre-Renaissance.
Pre-Renaissance.
Yeah, anyway, it's they yeah. Anyway, this
medieval.
This is funny. Look.
Yeah, this is 101 Dalmatians. Again, beautiful color palettes. These were designed by. Who would design that? Would have had probably Mary Blair would have had a hand in the color.
Well, this is the first
design.
Disney film that actually did Xerox.
Photocopying instead of photocopying onto cells from the pencils rather than inking.
Yeah, that's right.
So it gives you more of an organic look.
Yeah,
You can see that
sketchy.
Yes, which made it look more alive.
Yeah.
So it reinvigorated Disney.
Well,
here's Mary Blair. Concept painting. This is for Peter Pan. Of course, they never used this in Peter Pan, but it informed the animators as to the feelings that they were trying to evoke with the animation, with the backgrounds, the color palettes, of course.
They're standing on Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
I never saw the film, so I don't know
what
this is. So, this is...
Earl?
What's this? Pigs is Pigs, 1954. Jack Kinney, background painting by Evan Durrell, based on layout drawing by Bruce Bushman. So look at the simplicity of this. Look at the gradients going down to establish the beautiful color schemes of Evan Durrell.
Look
beautifully designed. For cinema. This is for cinema. It's not TV, folks. This is cinema. Yeah. This is why you get this level of sophisticated color. Okay, one of my favourites, Walter Lantz Productions. Of course, they did the perennial Woody Woodpecker. They had a beautiful, this one here, Woodpecker from Mars, 1956. Background painting by unknown artists. So unknown artists.
He did a lot of work.
Very, very.
A lot of work.
Very famous guy.
He's been going for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Warner Brothers. Oh, that's beautiful. This is from 1955. A Kitty's Kitty. Fritz Freleng, one of my favourite directors in the Warner Brothers.
This is the three cool, the three bears, but they're cool.
Yeah.
They're, the Three Little Bops.
The Three Little Bops, 1957.
Yeah.
So that's a really beautiful. I loved watching this cartoon on the Bugs Bunny show when I was a kid. It was just so cool to see the wolf in a zoot suit and these beautiful instruments, the double bass and the jazz, and the way that they animated the audience, like outlines,
that's
shadows,
right. Yeah, that's
beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Need some background.
Chuck Jones, big influence. Great. He pushed all of these animators really push the envelope further and further and further just to get their own individual take, their own individual style. And Chuck Jones is responsible for this, which is the Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century backgrounds, which are amazing stuff.
And this looks a bit like Toy Story 1, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it influenced, it was this was the era of the space age, the beginning of the space age, man, Sputnik in 1957.
Super Uber.
Yeah, so people were interested in the space
to the
race.
stars. Hairway to the stars.
Yeah. And just a very quick one, these are little gouache roughs that they put together, and sometimes they just, they would use them very rough, but they're just rough designs. This is a
sketch?
Pencil
sketch.
A clean pencil sketch.
Yeah.
So clean pencil sketch, rough colour comp, and they're working out their colour composition. Of course, this is how it ended up on screen.
Oh, this is What's Opera Doc. Yeah.
What's Opera Doc? Yeah, probably. Who directed?
No, I was looking at this yesterday on YouTube.
This is Morris Noble, who created these new worlds. He's actually got a book out which we're going to try and get and talk to you about and show you guys. Very influential background artist.
Starting to look very European-y.
Yes, but they were so
collage.
They were so they were everywhere, on everything. They could sell anything. These cartoons. They could sell shirts. They could sell petrol. And they could tell stories. And look at his face. It's like a keyhole. Or a similar shape to the to the machine gun hold. The machine gun.
Yeah.
Of what is that? The violin.
Yeah. Well, this is Zagreb.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing over in Yugoslavia at the time. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that. You just fill the screen. It just absolutely jumps.
The little island. Richard Williams. We were talking about him before.
Yeah. That's the director. He wrote that book, The Animated Survival Kit, which is... actually, we should review that book because that's something that every animator should
Richard
have.
Williams also directed Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Now, this is just a background painting. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look how simple the people are.
Yeah.
And this is probably used for a quick pan in. Not even a quick, a slow pan in, establishing shot.
Yeah. Nice design.
UPA again.
Very nice design.
1950s. So this book is. Look at these are some of Edwin Earl.
These are the actual artists.
Yeah. Ray Payton, Bill Melendez, Len Glaser.
That's what's his name? That's
Glaser.
Mel Blanc.
Yeah, Mel Blanc. Gene Deitch. There you go.
You couldn't see these things on. I mean, you'd have to hold them up.
So the book is put together. It goes on and on and on and on.
A lot of women here.
There's
Richard
Williams.
Williams.
That's what he used to look like.
And there's Ward Kimball lying on the ground.
Yeah, like school photos, aren't they?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So, what's your impressions of this book? I think it's one of the best books I've ever read.
Well, I love it because
it's taken me a long time to get it.
This period was. I love shorthand, and I love something expressed very simply, but and I love the humour in the way they do it as well. And it's just so simply done.
Yeah. So as I said to you before,
and it communicates straight away.
Rare,
it communicates.
So you'll have to hunt it down.
It communicates straight away, and even on that level, you know what I mean. So it communicates straight away.
Try and get this book. You'll need it. Believe me, you will need to refer to this book, especially today. Also, we've got other films in our YouTube channel on Toy Story and Bug's Life and what else? Some of the other book reviews.
Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, you name it.
Yeah,
Incredibles.
Yeah,
Did you name it? No, you didn't. All right. So this is Frantz, Kantor, and
this is Jim Bridges saying, check us out on Patreon.
yeah, but subscribe to us on YouTube and hit the little notification bell so that you'll be notified when we've got some new stuff up. And please get in touch with us and let us know what we should be looking at. Do you love animation as much as we do? Do you love cartoons and illustration? Please tell us what you want to see and we'll review it. We'll talk about it.
Our films take in everything. They take in politics, they take in animation, they take in how to draw, they take in everything. We're trying to get a cartoon universe going down here with our website.
So keep cartoons alive, keep watching our channel, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for the sour persimmons, cousin.